Hi, my name is Duane Smith. Thank you for reviewing my leadership project.
The leadership project I will be discussing in this presentation is my effort to align three individual projects and their staff members into a consolidated program, which my organization NAVWORK calls an Integrated Product Team, or IPT for short. The three individual teams being consolidated into a singular program provide three distinct services and are in different phases of their respective maturity cycles. One, a cyber inspection service team that prepares the Department of Navy commands for cyber readiness inspections. Two, an afloat cyber baseline service team that delivers software to Navy commands that assists warfighters in their adherence to engineering specifications and cyber defense postures. And three, a shore cyber baseline service team that delivers a variation of the afloat cyber baseline software with some additional management features. While the individual projects have thematic similarities, they have all been rolled out at different times to accommodate the demands of the Navy. As most Department of Defense projects are subject to congressional budget cuts, recent reduction in force efforts have forced project managers like myself to reevaluate our product demand as well as the resources needed to sustain our projects. By prioritizing our realignment efforts among the project's workforce and processes, we sought to enhance the value of our services as well as improve the confidence and competency of our staff. Sounds simple enough, right? The goal of this leadership project is a fairly straightforward task: turn similar enough products into a program. However, with some organizational obstacles such as a diminishing budget, a staff of managers that are getting their metaphorical leadership feet wet, and a relatively stubborn director, this goal is a little more difficult than it appears on paper. The Defense Acquisition University defines an IPT as a team composed of representatives from appropriate functional disciplines working together to build successful programs, identify and resolve issues, and make sound and timely recommendations to facilitate decision making. While our team had been administratively defined as an IPT, our team was still quite far from functioning as such. As part of this leadership project's vision, and in order for the program to function as charged, the vision we set forth as a team was to align the individual projects, processes, and products, which would ultimately empower the staff and reinvigorate their commitment and enthusiasm. The consequential knowledge sharing that would occur from this realignment effort would ultimately allow individuals on the team to feel program ownership and engage in collaboration that enhance the team's ability to resolve issues more rapidly and make more informed and improved decisions. Most importantly, the team found the vision to be a crucial step in its recalibration as it allowed the program the space to reassess its strengths and weaknesses and what it needed to do to provide enhanced capabilities to the Navy's warfighter in the cyber domain. If one thing was clear up front, we knew that we needed to gel as a team.
So, our SMART goal for this fiscal year was to develop a consolidated project management framework that included weekly meetings, knowledge sharing, and staff training that aligned our program and addresses the development and sustainment of our services and people. While this SMART goal is the long pole in the tent for the program's success, our SMART goals can't get smarter until there is alignment amongst the staff, processes, and reporting. If we don't have the proper data to reflect on, we don't know what we're doing right or wrong. The requisite knowledge we gain from this effort will allow us to have more specific SMART goals in the future, such as driving down product delivery time or delivering services that increase cyber inspection scores by 10%. To summarize here, the objective of this SMART goal was to address uh, what we call in the cyber world is our unknown unknowns. Our intended action plan was a relatively large overhaul of how we ran each individual project to make for a more cohesive program. In order to make this possible, I knew we would have to break the task into three broad objectives. Objective number one was to consolidate our management processes. Objective number two was to align our products and services. And objective number three was to have our project leads fully manage their own individual projects. Here we have our objectives broken down to much more manageable subtasks. As I mentioned earlier in this presentation, each project is at a different phase in its maturity cycle. The inspection project was the very first project and has been in instantiation for the last 7 years, and is a little bit more established in its processes, its funding, and internal and external organizational notoriety. The Afloat Cyber Baseline was established almost 3 years ago. While it is the most well-funded project, it took significant losses to its funding due to a failure to meet stakeholder expectations. The Shore Cyber Baseline project is the most nascent project of the three, but is slowly gaining support from external stakeholders as it complements the Afloat Cyber Baseline with wisdom from the inspection support team to enhance its product offering. Implementing the action plan has proven to be quite difficult as there have been many setbacks that have destabilized the IPT's foundation. At the beginning of the fiscal year, the program suffered a significant budget cut, which I alluded to earlier. This decrease in funding has led to a reduction in manpower that has put added stress on an already thinly spread workforce. To double down on the action plan implementation difficulty, we have been hit by COVID's mass resignation phenomenon and lost 3 government oversight project managers. Given these limitations, it's forced me to rely on a more coaching leadership style approach to make headway with the action plan. To date, I've been successful in aligning individual project managers by instantiating those weekly sync meetings and setting reporting expectations. The implementation of the weekly sync meetings with individual project managers and training has proved to be invaluable, as I've seen an uptick in their responses to owning their specific issues within their individual projects and staff rather than passing them up to me to handle. However, I'm not sure how much more headway we should expect to make on the action plan. Our shrinking manpower and the return of COVID and its protocols really dampens our capabilities, especially the ones we built after the first wave of COVID. With many of our project leads now having to facilitate the role of manager and performer, there hasn't been much time for reorganizing them or their staff and the expectations set forth for them in order to make the sweeping changes we set forth in the vision and action plan. To be completely honest and open, we have not made as much headway with the action plan as I would have liked. Based on our role in the Department of the Navy's cyber mission, we're not able to power down product delivery to resituate the program. So we're attempting to readjust our processes while still producing our products and services. That being said, we are currently only in Q1 of this fiscal year, which gives me a little hope considering we have 3 more quarters to implement our action plan. However, given the circumstances, I'm currently contemplating whether the best course of action to take here is to reevaluate that action plan altogether and allow us to focus on being prepared for more obstacles such as potential future government shutdown. My greatest concern as a leader right now is that any additional changes or demands placed on my workforce could destabilize them even further, considering our already exasperated resources. I'm also apprehensive that if I don't stay committed to our action plan and vision, or at least a modified version of it, then it may send the wrong message. Elongating our timeline may be the best decision to make right now if I'm going to stick with the current action plan, given all things considered. Just to restate, our biggest obstacles implementing the action plan we set forth has been funding, staffing shortages, and not being able to adjust product or service delivery schedule. With this in mind, I've made sure to go to our director and his leadership to inform them of the discrepancies. This proactively addresses the narrative going up to leadership rather than leaving our situation open to interpretation or guesswork. My strategy has been to be as open and transparent about the impact of our difficulties going both up and down the chain of command. Continuing open and honest dialogue about how to address our issues will ensure we are all aiming our sights in the same direction. In the past, in dealing with as many obstacles as we've had, I would have normally defaulted to a pace setting leadership style where I would have taken more off of my project lead's plates. But I quickly tried to shake that old habit as I recognized it was a great opportunity for me to instill more trust in my project leads to allow them to figure out their own issues individually and provide them resources and coach them through difficult moments. I've also recognized that I rely very heavily on my emotional intelligence to pick up on any stressors that they're going through so that I can address their well-being above all else. Um, I try to do the same for emails as well too. If I detect a hint of frustration or microaggressions, I try to reach out as soon as I can to help eliminate any unnecessary stress. While the actions that I'm describing are not the leading that I expected I would need at the start of this project, I've been effective in adapting to the demands of the situation. After conversations with my leads, they all feel supported and are better informed of the expectations set for them. They also know that I'm there to support and I have my door open, and that's not just lip service. I've tried to eliminate perceived power distances by reiterating the fact that we're all leaders in our own right and performing our responsibilities and the roles we've been delegated on this task. As part of my reflections as a leader, I tend to fixate on what could have gone better. However, I'm choosing not to do that here, considering there's so much time left within the scope of the project SMART goal and action plan. What I can say is that I've been most impressed by my team's ability to make any headway with the action plan, considering the number of distractions going on around us. I believe I've been calm and anticipatory, which has allowed the team to at least remain relaxed under stressful circumstances. The weekly syncs we instantiated have afforded me the ability to stay situationally aware of each project's status and allowed me to have better conversations with my leadership about how they can help. Where I hope things get better is with the circumstances and safety protocols surrounding COVID as it pertains to our ability to be in the office together and travel restrictions that we have to accommodate. I've recognized that I tend to collaborate more effectively in face-to-face meetings, and our team is more effective when they are able to spend more time in our client spaces, understanding their needs and how we can use those insights to improve our products. At the start of the project, I was blissfully unaware of the numerous obstacles we would face that would make implementing this action plan more difficult than it already was. As a leader, I was focused on empowering my workforce so that they could become engaged and committed decision makers for our RPT. While we may have not accomplished our action plan yet, I do think that there's been positive change in their mindsets and in their approach to their projects. I like to think starting off with good intentions has made a significant impact in making that happen. I look forward to adjusting our action plan and continuing to make headway as best we can.